Hey, good morning, everybody. John here with Havoc Maker Studio, and today is the day I can at least talk about both Luke Cage and Iron Fist, probably the best duo in the Marvel comic universe and maybe MCU. Maybe not the MCU. Screw it. I liked them in the MCU. I love the Defenders on Netflix, so we're going to give them our thumbs up. So we finally have both sets of cards. Luke Cage came out last week, and then Iron Fist dropped today. So let's go over both these cards. And for those of you wondering what else is going to come, I've got you covered. So let's take a look at Luke Cage. So going left to right here on his stat cards, both are the same. The one side is the healthy side, the other side is the dazed or injured side. So looking at the top row, left to right, he has 6 health. He has medium movement, pretty good. He's only size 2. I thought he might be size 3, but in reality, it makes sense he's size 2 because he's not like gargantuan or he's not like Hulk size or anything. And he looks like threat 3, or that's 3 points. So whenever you make your roster, you're going to be playing your whatever scenario. It has a number of points per scenario. And so the threat level or points is what that is. Then he has a very healthy, above average, but it's still healthy. Physical resistance, that's the red fist at 4, and then 3 and 3 for mystical and energy. That's not too bad. That's actually pretty decent. Now let's get into his attacks. Now Luke Cage can take the hits and he can dish it out. His first one is the Power Man Punch, because he used to be called Power Man when he first came out, and now just goes by Luke Cage. So it's range 2. It's approximately 2 inches. And so any model within 2 inches, that means they can get hit by this attack. The barbell there is how much dice you're going to roll. That's 5 dice. That's potentially 5 damage dice or more if you get the criticals. And the last symbol there is the power. 0 power. This is a basic attack, so it doesn't cost anything. And you can do up to 2 actions per turn. So if you want to do 2 Power Man punches, you go right ahead. So this Power Man Punch, after the attack is resolved, this character gains power equal to the damage dealt. There are right now basically 3 ways to get power. First, at the start of every game turn, when everybody resets, everybody has the power face. They get 1 power or more, depending on the character. If you take damage, you get a point of power for each point of damage you take. And in some cases, the more damage you do, like in Luke Cage's instance here, where he can get power equal to the damage he dealt. Others, it's just 1 point after the attack is resolved. So this is still very cool. He also has the ability to stagger. So it looks like you have to have 2 of the wild dice. And if you do, then after the attack is resolved, whether you did damage or not, the target character will gain the stagger special condition. Now we're going to go to his next attack, is Sweet Christmas, his signature catchphrase. It's range 3, so it's a little bit bigger reach. 7 dice. That is very good. 7 dice. Very, very good. But it costs 4 power. Now he should be able to generate a fair amount of power. You probably won't be able to pop this off until probably turn 2 or turn 3 in the game. But when you do, it's going to be good. Because if you get a wild dice, after the attack is resolved, if the target character is size 3 or less, you're going to throw them away a short distance. And throwing people doesn't sound like, oh, okay, I guess I'll just throw them away. It doesn't sound all that great. But if they haven't activated, they're going to have to move closer. And if they've already activated and you throw them in a direction towards one of your unactivated characters, you're now going to potentially make it to where they don't have to do a move action and they can just do their attack actions, taking out the character. And the other thing about being thrown is if you're thrown into terrain or other characters, you can take damage. That's really important. Now, after this attack is resolved, the target character gains the slow and stun special conditions. So if you just hit him with the Power Man Punch, now he's staggered. And then if you got connected with that Sweet Christmas, you've thrown him away from you. And he's slowed and stunned. He's all sorts of messed up. Or she, doesn't matter. So let's get into his superpowers. This first one is the superpower. That's that little cross symbol. That's Street Fighter. You can choose an interactive terrain feature of size 2 or less. So usually cars, or smaller like dumpsters, trash cans, lampposts, and you can throw it short distance. And the superpower can be used only once per turn. Now, in the Marvel Crisis Protocol, if you're not aware, all the terrain is interactive and it can be destroyed. It can be thrown at people, you can throw people into it, it can deal damage. So that's a potentially cool thing, especially you got people like on buildings or trying to use buildings to get around you. You destroy those buildings, pick them up, throw them away, or maybe they're using a car for cover. Nope, nope, nope. Use Street Fighter, pick that up, toss it. Now, if this said as an action, then, or it says action at the front of it, it would require one of his actions. But since it doesn't say that, unless the rules have somehow changed in the past year, then this is like an extra ability he can do on top of his 2 actions. Next is his, I believe it's reactive powers. Too dangerous to ignore. It costs 2 power. When an enemy character within range 2 of this character, of this character targets another allied character with an attack, this character may use this superpower. So basically, if you have the Punisher is near Luke Cage and he's about to shoot Iron Fist, Luke Cage can use this power out of turn, and he becomes the target of that attack, regardless of range and line of sight. So when you combine it with his kind of robust or even above average defenses, depending on what you're getting hit with, and his new innate ability, the unbreakable skin we're about ready to get to, he becomes a good tank. He can take the hits and keep the other characters in the fight. The unbreakable skin is an innate power. That means it's always active. So when this character would suffer damage from an enemy effect, you're always going to subtract 1 to a minimum of 1. So you might not take any damage, depending on other abilities, maybe Time Stone or the Power Stones or whatever the Infinity Gems are. This is potentially not game breaking, but when you want a character to take the hits to keep everybody else in the fight, or somebody that can camp an objective and take the hits, this guy might be perfect. And then he has immunity bleed. There are a lot of characters out there that can inflict the bleed condition or bleed status. When that happens, they take damage until they spend an action to repair it, or some scenarios allow you to have devices that can heal. So looking over on its injured side, the only thing that I can see, and I could be wrong, but the only thing I see that changes is his health. His health goes from a 6 to a 5. So when you switch over to your injured side or your dazed side, you're on your last leg. So once you lose these last 5 points, that's a total of 11 hit points, if you will. Once you lose those last 5 points, they're out of the game. That's it. There are only a few characters I think have the ability to resurrect. I think Ultron is one of those. So right now, Luke Cage, I mean, he's not overwhelming, but at a cost of 3, he might be a must-have. Because, I mean, that's a lot of good things going on there for 3. He might not be, the big damage dealer or big mover, but he's a foundation. He's a rock. So you might be able to, I think you might be able to squeeze him in there. You might want to. So let's take a look at my other favorite of these duo is the Iron Fist. Now, this is Danny Rand, super martial arts, mystical guy. He's had a very up and down history in the Marvel Comics. And God bless him, but the guy that played on the Netflix did his best. And it's really, I can't blame him on the Netflix shows for not being the best martial artist. They literally were filming they would practice the martial arts fight scenes 15 minutes prior to filming. Maybe 20 minutes. I think it was 15 minutes when I read. And I'm like, why would you do that? This guy should have had at least 3 months of some martial arts training so he looked competent and natural. So they really did that actor kind of an injustice. I think he was perfect for it. But I blame the director, the producer. I blame everybody else for not giving him the tools to be successful. Now, looking at his stat cards here, 5 health is very healthy. Medium movement, okay. He's not like superhuman, guys. So I'm not expecting superhuman stats here. A size 2, that means just the size of his character, standing and width and bulk and all that stuff. Or Thanos, I believe, is a 3, maybe a 4. He's also 3 points. That's very cheap. 3 points. He's got 3 and 3 for his physical energy and for his mystical defense. So that's good all around. His first attack doesn't cost any power, and this is an energy attack. It's his key strike. Range 2, 5 dice, 0 power. That's really, really good. He gets a point of power for every damage dealt, so he could potentially get a lot of power, and he needs power. Trust me. We're going to get to it. So his flying kick is another free power attack. It's range 3, 4 dice, so meh. But it is a 0 power cost. Now, it's got a pretty good range, low on the dice. But here's some cool things. After this attack is resolved, this character gains 1 power. So you don't have to do damage. You're going to get 1 power. Awesome. You need the power. Then if you look at this, after this attack is resolved, you can place this character within range 1 of the target. That's really good, especially if, like, say you're range 3 away, and you can't, you're not gonna be able to claim or contest an objective that, say, an enemy character who's already activated is now claiming. And at the end of this round, they're going to get that point. Well, you execute the flying kick, and now you're going to move them in range 1 of the objective of that character and potentially be contesting that objective or claiming that objective. Who knows? And the fact that you're generating power is really good. So he's kind of got some nice movement ability based off of basic attack that costs nothing. Now, here's why you need the power. The Iron Fist. This is an energy attack. It's range 2, so not too far, but that's okay because it's not like he's Goku and he can sit there and do, Kamehameha, spirit bombs, and all that kind of stuff. So don't expect him to be tossing fireballs around like Liu Kang and such. But before damage is dealt, if there are any other enemy characters within range 3 of the target character, they automatically suffer 1 damage. Boom, they're going to take it. They're not going to be defending. They're going to take that damage if I'm reading that correctly, which I think I am. That's really awesome. Just take your point of damage, guys. Just take it. Oh, you've got an ability that allows you to ignore 1 point of damage, but it's very likely you're going to have to take it to a minimum of 1, so eat a point of damage. That's really awesome. That could potentially daze some people, especially with the amount of power, which is 8 for this attack. More likely this is going to be probably round 3, round 4 that you can pop this off, and people are going to already be injured. Now, this is a very healthy attack with, not even a healthy attack. This is an extreme attack with 9 dice. So that's potential 9 points of damage. And if you were lucky enough to get all critical hits, that's 18 damage that you could deal to somebody. Now, before the damage is dealt, also, if the target character has an activated token, it becomes staggered and is thrown range short away, which is about 2 to 3 inches. Now, if that character is not activated yet, that means he can still go this round and do all of his actions. It becomes activated. That's awesome. You just denied your opponent a character activation. That's awesome. Not only did you hurt people around them, but now this guy that you've taken one more person kind of out of the fight, at least for this round. That is an awesome ability. Now, he has 2 innate abilities. He doesn't have any other superpowers or innate, reactive powers. He just has these 2. Immortal Weapon. So during the power phase, he gains an additional power. So right now, he gains 2 power at the start of every game round. So you have 6 game rounds. So he's going to be generating potentially 12 just from that. There might be other things that generate power, like maybe, I think it's the Power Stone, you can get a point of power every turn. I could be wrong, but still combine that with his other attacks, and this guy's going to be generating power. So he could potentially, definitely by turn 4, if he hasn't well, actually by turn 4, he should have enough power as long as he's still up and moving to dish this out. More than likely, potentially turn 2, at the end of turn 2, or definitely I would say very likely turn 3, because if he takes some damage, he's going to be getting some power. He's going to have enough power probably around turn 3. I'm thinking maybe turn 2, definitely turn 4, very possibly turn 3 to unleash the Iron Fist. And that's going to be a clutch moment, because usually these games, I rarely see games go all the way to turn 6. So turn 3 or round 3, whatever you want to call it, tends to be a very, I think, an important round, because that's when everything's in the thick of it and you start seeing the characters really get into it. But let's move on to his other innate power, Master Martial Artist. Sorry. When this character is defending against, it looks like physical or energy attacks targeting it from within range 3, so they have to be within range 3. This character adds blanks to its defense roll for its total successes. So on the dice that you're rolling for defense and attacks, there's a critical symbol, there's a wild die symbol, there's a damage symbol, there is a shield symbol, and a blank. And then there's 3 others. I think that means there might be 2 blanks, 2 damage, and 2 defense, I think. I don't pay too much attention to, oh, there's a critical failure dice in there too. So if he ever rolls up those blanks, normally don't do anything for you, actually, unless you have some special ability. But for him, as long as the character's in range 3, and he should be getting in range 3, you want him close for his attacks, then he's going to be able to boost his defenses potentially. And he doesn't have that high of defenses. They're average. So you're going to want every advantage possible. So get him in close. That's my suggestion. And now, as I look over on his injured side, the art looks, actually, I think the art on his injured side looks way better than his his healthy side. I just think it's a cooler pose. I don't see any differences. There's no point variations. He doesn't have lower or increased health, so he looks pretty normal across the board. So he's got potentially 10 health, or not potentially. He's got 10 health at a cost of 3, and he does a lot of good damage. You pair him up with a couple other characters. I'm thinking Doctor Strange right now. There's some interesting combos you might be able to pull off with him and Luke Cage. Basically, you can form the defenders with those 3. Maybe tossed in, looking at the point cost, you might be able to toss in Ghost Rider. So that's 6, 11. You might be able to get Ghost Rider in there. You could have some really awesome combos going on there. So let's take a look at the future releases that we know of that Atomic Mass Games has either revealed or has said on air. So these are not in any particular order. But I will try to say I'll try to tell you which ones are coming up soon. So we got Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. We already know that. We've already seen the miniatures. We just have no idea what the rules are. Mr. Sinister, confirmed. We've seen the image and it looks awesome. Mysterio, seen that. Kraven the Hunter, definitely. There is a new Captain America, but it's not Steve Rogers. It's going to be Sam Wilson, who is right now the Falcon, or if you're watching Falcon the Winter Soldier. At some point, it looks like during that TV series on Disney Plus, he is going to become Captain America. Then we have Cassandra Nova, who is the parasitic twin of Professor X. She's a very, very, very bad person. She's going to be coming out. I was really surprised on that one. We knew the Lizard is going to be coming out, a Spider-Man foe. Juggernaut. Juggernaut is my favorite character. And, well, he's on my top 10 list. Moon Knight, super excited because Oscar Isaacs is going to be playing him in the Disney Plus series. Dormammu, he is a big-time villain in Doctor Strange. He's who he faced off against in his first movie. War Machine, Black Cat. Oh, I put Juggernaut on there twice. My bad. I put Lizard on there twice. Must have been too excited about them. Omega Red, a X-Men, really Wolverine villain. Blade. Iron Spider, the Bombastic Bagman. If you're not familiar with that, go Google Bombastic Bagman. I'm really surprised that they're putting this miniature out, but cool. A new Amazing Spider-Man, or that actually a new Spider-Man. They've labeled it as the Amazing Spider-Man. One of my previous videos shows off that miniature. Cable and Domino are coming up in May, alongside Luke Cage and Iron Fist, which we talked about today. They'll be out in May. Professor X, Miss Marvel, Sin, and Viper. So we have a lot of amazing models coming downrange just this year alone. And I'm sure we're not even gotten through all the models, all the miniatures that we're going to see this year. There was an image that might be the first appearance of their largest model, a Sentinel. So if you're familiar with the X-Men comics or X-Factor, X-Force, any of the mutant related ones, they have these machines called Sentinels. If you might have even seen them in the cartoons or even one of the older X-Men movies, they are giant robots that hunt down and neutralize or capture mutants. And I think we're going to be seeing that miniature. We saw a leg during one of the previews last year, and I'm pretty sure it was not a toy. I'm pretty sure it's going to be an actual miniature that we're going to be able to play, because there is a Sentinel play kit that's going to be coming later this year. So with that said, my name is John. This is Havoc Maker Studio. This was a bit of a breakdown of Luke Cage and Iron Fist, probably the greatest comic duo. I think better than Batman and Robin. The wordplay between these two, the fun they have together, the fight scenes. I think they're the best pair out there. They're definitely the best street level character duo that I've ever seen in Marvel Comics and DC. And that's saying a lot. I'm a big DC fan. So super excited about their release. You guys have probably already noticed down below, I've got my image saying it's coming soon. We're going to be doing a week-long show going over both those models. Now, before you sign off, down below some rules for an upcoming contest, or actually an active contest. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and take a look at those rules. There's a RPG that's out right now for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. I'm going to be giving away copies depending on how many followers we get by the end of the Kickstarter, which ends on April 29th, 2021. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit the thumbs up and leave a comment. Let me know what you think of the video. Let me know the things I should maybe change, maybe some upcoming characters or games you want me to talk about. And I'll talk to you all later. Have a wonderful day.